A warm welcome, everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in to today's live session where you have the opportunity to gain insights into the latest innovation of the SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. So today's session is part of an entire series of live webcasts on the theme of SAP Business Suite. And in the description of this video, you can access our playlist where you can find all the past as well as the upcoming sessions. So don't miss the opportunity to take a look into our playlist. So today, I'm glad to have Christine Hofmann as expert with us. So Christine is the Chief Solution Expert for SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. And you can feel free to raise your questions directly to her. You can do so by using the chat window, and we will pick your questions up right after the presentation part. So without any further ado, I would now like to hand over to you, Christina, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Sinan. Yeah, also very warm welcome from my side, from sunny Waldorf today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm happy to present to you today the innovations that we have shipped lately with our FPS03 of our 2023 release. And so let's go into the details. This slide we have to include, as I will also mention some roadmap items at the end of the presentation. So that is part of our planning. And so we have to include the disclaimer here. So when looking at the agenda for today's session, actually three main chapters or parts of the agenda is that we first look a little bit at the SAP corporate strategy and how SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition fits into the strategy. And then based off the components of the SAP strategy, I will highlight the innovations that we have recently shipped with FPS03 in these specific pillars of our SAP strategy. And then at the end, we will have some additional resources where you can also enhance I would say the insights into the innovations that we have shipped and also notes that are relevant for topics that I explained during the course of the presentation. All right. So let's start with the very first point. So what's the SAP strategy? What's our vision? So you might be familiar with this slide. So that is actually how we envision the interplay of several components of our strategy, which is application, data, and AI. And we believe that all of the three pillars are, I would say, necessary to fully make a benefit of a fully use or a benefit from the innovations that we ship when you look into the specific areas of these three components. So AI on the top is on top of minds from everyone, but that is actually only valid and relevant if you have, starting from the below, the applications in place where this business AI is used, where it is embedded in business transaction, where Joule is embedded, where you can use Joule, our digital assistant. So we have the applications on the bottom across the line of businesses. So there are no siloed application. They are integrated with each other's, partly running on our technology platform. So this is the entire application section where also S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition is part of. Of course, these applications generate data when running the business processes that customers want to evaluate, that you want to evaluate in your business. And these data that are produced there are shipped then via data products in the Business Data Cloud across the SAP portfolio, and where then analytics takes place in SAP Business Data Cloud. And also these SAP data products can be enriched with non-SAP application data using the strategic partnership with Databricks. So that's, then I would say a 360 view across your data, be it in SAP or outside of SAP. And of course, that is also the database for for the agents that will run in business AI section. And you see there are arrows around the 3 sections. So of course, AI generates or recommends data, feeding in back, making recommendations. The application generate data that run into or will be or are integrated in business data cloud and also on so forth. So that is a circle of innovation. And yeah, all the 3 pillars are essential for the transformation and also to leverage all the innovation. And that is also why you will see that later on, the innovations are also structured along these 3 pillars. Yeah, and how do we see SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition represented in our corporate strategy? So we see it, the SAP Business Suite. So you see also the similar color coding that we just had in the previous slide with application in the lighter blue section, then the data, and also the business AI and Joule in the purple section. And so you see here with Cloud ERP, that's exactly where our S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition application is represented. Yeah, so that was already the first chapter, a short introduction into our corporate strategy and where S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition you can see represented. So then let's dig into the S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition a bit more in detail, what's in the application section in general. So we like this kind of visualization because it gives you really the overview. So in the middle section, first of all, we have the line of businesses all around. You might also know this slide, maybe have seen it already somewhere. These are a little bit like the modules that you maybe know from R3 times. We call it now line of business, sourcing, procurement, supply chain, manufacturing, sales, service, finance, R&D, asset management, and HR. And in the middle section, so the little bit darker blue section, you see capabilities that are included in the S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. We call it enterprise management. So that's really the core. That's what you get when you deploy, when you use S4 in the core component. So no additional license required. You get this when you use the S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition core product. Sorry. And these are enhanced. You see it in the lighter blue section by, usually we call it add-ons or LOB solutions. Those ones are technically as well in the S/4HANA deployment, but they require an additional pricing, right? So we have examples in sourcing procurement, like central procurement, or the product sourcing capabilities, or you see supply chain, like advanced warehouse management, transportation, and so on and so forth. So you see examples in almost all line of businesses where we extend the core with add-ons. And then we have on top our modular cloud LOB solutions in our line of business portfolio, where S4 can also be enhanced by using line of business solutions running on BTP or their own platform outside of the S4 technical stack. So this is a complete overview across all the capabilities that S4 plus line of business solution provides. You can also use the QR code and download the slide. All right, then let's move on to the next agenda item, which is then the highlights and the innovations for the feature pack that was shipped in February this year. And I would like to go along, the 3 components that you have seen in the very first slide. So starting with AI, so the deep purple section, business AI and Joule. So it's a very important topic for our product. We have invested a lot in this area already with the last feature stack, so with FPS02 in October last year, and we continued in FPS03. And AI we see important as it does not support only the business by accelerating processes and optimize decision thus provide personal recommendations or analyze this historical data or captured data from paper. So there are many examples how to accelerate processes here, but also the people aspect, right? So the users that uses the system, are gaining benefits by, in increased productivity using digital assistant, where the users do not have to go into the apps to process or perform a task, but let Joule, the digital assistant, perform this task. So it's both folded. It supports the business and it also supports the people. So, and how do we do this? So you see here a complete overview across the, I would say again, line of businesses. So we you see it in the icon. So we have one slider for this FPS03, the icons where you have Joule use cases. We put a sticker with the Joule use cases, and the other ones are our business AI cases, where we leverage business AI services in the line of businesses in the respective innovation section, right? And I will explain parts of these innovations in the following slides. So, but you see here already a representation that also in FPS03 we have delivered additional Joule use cases for the business roles as well as business AI cases. And you see also the other icon, which is the small cloud icon. That means that this business AI case and Joule case is available for S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition only. So not available for S/4HANA on-premise. There's one small exception in the supply chain. You see one does not have the symbol. That's an intrinsic AI use case in S4 itself. So then let's have a closer look on some of the examples. So in terms of, let's start off with sales. So in sales, we have already shipped in FPS02 business AI cases to monitor sales orders, to get via Joule by asking Joule, provide a summary of a sales order, what kind of delivery issues are existing, what kind of blocks are existing, do an update of a quantity from 10 to 20. So these were all cases that you could already do with FPS02. And we have enhanced this sales order case by also providing explanations for blocks and why the block is sitting and what kind of block is sitting on the sales order. So you see this in a small video illustrated. So you see here regarding a specific sales order, there are blocks in that sales order. It's explained what kind of block. So we have a billing block, a delivery issue, and a delivery block. And you see here in a kind of a carousel illustration or visualization that these are existing on the header or item and what kind of blocks are there. And you have also the possibility directly to remove the block from the Joule assistant. So it's a prompt that is given to Joule, and then you can also, if you would like to navigate after the change has successfully been done to the sales order itself, that is then the, I would say, navigational part of the Joule pattern here. We also see the transactional part where really the delivery block and billing block is removed. But you can also navigate and continue from there. So that's the enhancement of FPS03, where we explain the kind of issue, the block, as well as providing the navigation to the app itself. Here again, as a one-pager, that you see, this again in the middle is a delivery block, and you can even click on that and get an explanation, and see and remove it from there, if you click on the block. So that's one example in the area of sales. Then we have, another, I would say, use case in sales is the mass change of sales orders using Joule. So you can also ask Joule to do a mass change that's available both for header and item level. So you can filter your documents that should be changed by a specific criteria, like a sales organization, or if you have a parameter that is unique across documents that should be changed, you can provide this as a criteria to Joule, and then a Joule is executing this mass change on all the documents that would apply to it. But there's also a confirmation step that the user can say, okay, I want to confirm that this change is really applied. So then let's continue with a next use case that's in the area of finance. So sales was more, I would say, a large language model driven business AI case, right? So we have, in this case here in finance, we are using document extraction. That's another business AI service that we use. And the use case here is that at the end of a posting period, the accountant might get request to do some postings into the universal journal, be it via Excel or other kind of formats. And this use case should help to automate this. So first of all, you would upload your posting policies. So that's the first step, so that AI knows about how to post it and what is allowed and what fields are required. This is usually a one-time exercise that you make the system aware of your posting policies. And then, during the posting, there might be, activities that you receive in Excel, as I said, and then you would upload that Excel sheet with the postings into that managed journal upload cases Fiori app. And the document extraction interprets, the Excel and put it into the respective line items here, make a proposal. And again, the accountant would review this, would check whether all is accurate. The system, of course, checks also whether all data are complete. And then, after having validated these uploads, then it's gone. Else it would have be a manual entry all the time. But you can do this like 10, 12, what is ever in that Excel can be uploaded at once and checked. So that is document extraction. The next LOB in the area of service, that is also an document extraction use case. So in the area of repair, so that a repair object is sent to your company. Usually there's also a paper along with the shipping of the repair object, would be a returns PO, whatever kind of line item. Then the use case is as follows, that at first the paper is captured. So you would simply scan or photograph or take a photo, a picture of this paper-based document. And then the document extraction interprets the format, interprets what is part of that paper, and pull that into the respective fields. And then again, review is done by the business user to check whether all is correct. So you can see it all here to get an impression how it would look like. With service processing, say manage in-house repair. And then create from document. You would upload your picture or PDF or whatever you have. And then you see the document extraction, fills in the fields that is coming, gives you also warnings or when everything works fine. And still you can, as a business user, manipulate still the data, right? You can add additional things, you can remove things, and then you can create the in-house repair and start the process here. And still within the document itself, you can also include and work on the document itself. So the first is that, the paper document is transformed into structured data. So unstructured data in structured data. And then you can, move on with your service process. All right, that was in the area of service. Then we have another example in the area of manufacturing. This is again a large language model case for PPDS. Sometimes the business users, they struggle a bit with reading the log that is created out of a detailed scheduling optimizing run. And Joule helps to interpret the log. And also you can ask Joule question about a specific thing, why an order is delayed. You get the root cause, why the order is delayed, all into the Joule application. And then you can fix the issue from there as well. So that's also what I said in the beginning, supporting the end user, increase the productivity to use an assistant to accelerate and to, I would say, improve the business process here. So there's also, you see it here illustrated, it's that Joule is started, can give prompts in Joule about the logs that have been created. And you see, you ask Joule then for giving more details, as you just saw it maybe on the screenshot and the slide before. And then, you get the logs from the PPDS optimizer. You can say, okay, successfully, or if some issues, maybe you open, and then the optimization log, the Fiori app is also displayed, you see it. And then you can ask Joule to perform the summarization of the log and navigate maybe to problems. You see here 1 delayed order, 2 fixed order, no error, maybe a warning, and you can navigate directly to the things that might be of a problem, right? Why things are delayed, and so this helps you or the user to maybe structure a bit the log, which is maybe before a little bit not cumbersome, but it's not so structured, or you have possibility to navigate and ask Joule to do the root cause and say what is the problem. See here specific purchase requisitions. They have a root cause, the delayed root cause, and that is due to packing. So you get also the insights, and then you can work from there. All right, so these were the business AI cases. So how S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition contributed to the very first pillar, the purple section with business AI cases, be it document extraction service or large language model. We had also cases for personal recommendation in the area of asset management to create maintenance orders based on requests by looking at historical data. So we have shipped this already with FPS02, and now we continued with the cases that you just saw. So the middle piece is the data section. We have SAP Business Data Cloud. And how does S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition contributes to that section? So there are actually 2 ways how we contribute with our product. First of all, we deliver so-called data products. You see it on the top left corners. These are structured and curated data that are created by line of business. So data that are residing in your tables, be it line item, header data, partner tables, like a data cube, and that is aligned from master data perspective and from the semantics aligned with other data products in other line of business solutions, right? So first, at the moment, Private Edition is the front runner for Business Data Cloud. We have already shipped. I included also a link here to the data product. You will find it in the Business Accelerator Hub. You will find already the list of data products that are shipped with the S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition together with Business Data Cloud. So that's one aspect. That's also the basic for doing analytics, to combine several data products into data packages and use those data packages for your analytical insights. And you see here 360-degree analytics. That's where so-called intelligent apps are built. The intelligent apps can be built on top of data from one system, it's in future on several systems, and also on external data, right, from outside of SAP, like I mentioned in the beginning with Databricks. So that's a template that SAP provides called intelligent apps. So we have one front runner at the moment in the Private Edition, which is about working capital. The visualization might be familiar with to you, like SAP Analytics Cloud as a UI. And underlying, we have the data products from S4 plus Taulia that can be combined together to provide you insight about your working capital. You see it on the left-hand side, like question, how has the working capital trended over the past few months? What is the average payment period for accounts payable, and so on and so forth, right? So this is the first front-runner app we call it intelligent apps. That is where the underlying data products are combined to bring a 360-degree view. Yeah, so this is the data section, and let's move on to the light blue section, which is the application section. Starting off, maybe a short recap. Since the first delivery on the left-hand side, 1610, right? So these are the releases that you see, not the years. It's the releases and the release name. So we have at the moment a release 2023, and we delivered feature pack 0, 1, 2, and 3 into that. So we had 4 deliveries for 2023, and that ends up around about 1,000 innovations within these 4 deliveries, right? So you see constantly how many innovations we ship with our release, and due to a 2 years release cycle now with 2023, this amount is again increased, of course, due to the longer period of shipment. And out of the 1,000 roughly innovations there, at the moment 23 innovations that have been shipped already only for the Private Edition and not for on-premise, like I mentioned before, business AI cases or Joule cases. And then on the bottom you see, that's in general our release strategy. So we are at, I would say, the end of 2023 release with the feature pack 3 that has been shipped in February. And then the mainstream maintenance will run still the next 5 years. So we have in total a 7 years release cycle for maintenance and shipment in 2 years, and then followed by 5-year mainstream maintenance. And then, in October 2025, we are planning our next main release, and followed again by the same kind of delivery. We will have feature pack 0, so to say, as the main starting release in October planned, and then feature pack 1, 2, and 3, roughly again Q1, Q4, Q1 in the next years, as we also had it with 2023. So that as a small recap about, you see the involvement, what we do in the respective releases, and also how we continue to deliver. So similar representation regarding the deliveries and the innovations that we have shipped with FPS03. You see there from the previous slide, I think we have around about 250 to 300 innovations in total for one feature pack. So these are only the highlights. We will give you the resources for digging also into other innovations that were shipped with the latest release. But yeah, just in maybe as a one slider to see by line of business what has been shipped here. So you see all a line of business represented. So I would dig a little bit into the details of the GTS integration in supply chain and sales, but also service. We did a lot, and also in asset management. But in general, you see also in manufacturing, we have new Fiori app, Fiori apps delivered, also in asset management, new Fiori apps. We had GTS integration, as I said, and then also functional enhancements. So first of all, that a GTS integration, one example here is in case of a decentral deployment of extended warehouse management and transportation management using advanced shipping and receiving connected to an S4 or ERP system. We have now the integration in that decentral deployment to global trade services. So done for in the export process, done for the compliance check. So these are mainly sanctioned party list screening, the embargo check or legal control check against freight units and freight orders, and also later in the process to complete the export declaration for consignment and freight orders. So this has been introduced with FPS03. So one integration aspect of GTS. Another is in the area of sales, where we also have a compliance check when creating credit memo requests or billing requests. So during the creation of those, the GTS integration runs and performs the compliance check. And if the compliance check, so to say, fails or bring a result that this document is blocked, then it's not possible to create any follow-on document like a credit or debit memo. So that's then suppressed in this case. Another example for GTS integration. Then we have another example in the area of advanced available to promise. In the area of interactive back order processing, there's a new Fiori app, which is called Manage Confirmation for Back Orders. And that is an opportunity for end user to update, manipulate manually or semi-automated and doing some adjustments on the requirements that are still in the boundaries of the ATP process, of course. But you can, as a user, orchestrate and work on confirmation dates and quantities that influences then, again, your back order processing. But you can also ask the system, you see it here in the screenshot, improve by evaluating your strategy, your BOP strategy, back order processing strategy, or you say lose or redistribute. So this is the same automation, or you can also do manually. So completely new Fiori app, and supporting in an interactive UI to work on your requirements, be it from sales orders or stock transport orders. All right, then in the area, as I said, from service, there are a couple of enhancements like, service hierarchy. So before there were accounting object on each single service line item, but you maybe want to do analysis and do accounting on a bundle of services. This is now possible, so that we have a service hierarchy with collective accounting, we call it, and you can do then also the reporting and the analysis based on the bundle. Yeah, so you have a bundle of services that belong together on which you want to analyze this. You see it also together, service and R&D. As I said, the service structure as such. Also in the apps that you see here, project cost overview or project cost line item. Also there, the structure is in place, and also service order and service contracts are now supported in the project cost overview app, and also in the project cost line item map. So this is also easier to navigate, have a structure in place, and have also the hierarchy in place. All right, again, a new Fiori app in the area of asset management. So you might be familiar with managed purchase order, managed sales order, where you can do all the operations like create, edit, display in one app. And that was not yet in place for asset management for the maintenance order. So that has been released with FPS03, so that you see the operations and researches from the operation and research. You go into the operation and have the details of the operation. So that's a completely new app. And like from the other managed app, now also available for the maintenance order. So huge step forward in the usability here. So that was a small glimpse into the highlights in the lighter blue section. So let's see what kind of additional resources you can also get additional details. So first of all, when you're familiar with the Roadmap Explorer, there we have the product S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition as a selection. You see it here, product is selected, Private Edition. Then you see all the innovations that are delivered with the Private Edition, like you had it also already before the S/4HANA on-premise. But we have a PPMS product now for S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. We can show the dedicated innovation for the Private Edition. This is also the QR code where you can scan and get the roadmap. And there's an additional, you see, focus topic that has also a small one. That is also selected. That is private cloud only. And these are the innovation right now, already 58, planning going forward. We have seen which have been already delivered in one of the slides, but going forward, there will be more innovations in the area of business AI and Joule that are delivered in the Private Edition only and not in on-premise. So this is when you use that specific filter, like focus topic, private cloud only. Then, so where you can gain more information is in our community, of course. We have an SAP community for S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition across all line of businesses, and also about upcoming webinars and things like that. And then we have also released 2 blogs specifically for the innovation of FPS03. So you get all the details, the things that we have discussed today and more explained, and also with links to the online documentation. You will find this also in the presentation, and click on the link. And then we have also 2 additional notes here included. As more and more Joule use cases are coming where transactional and navigational patterns are supported, it's maybe a little bit difficult to keep the overview and to keep what has been delivered. So we have a central note here. There, all the transactional and navigational capabilities are listed by business roles, so that you know what the Joule Assistant can help with. And then we have also a note about AI functionality in S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition, and also with the respective release information, because some are available also on lower releases. So you will get this information in these 2 notes, where you also have the QR code here. All right. So that would have been from my side. So thank you very much for taking the time already to listen into that. I hope you got an overview and about what we have delivered in February already, and next release to come in October. So that was it from my side, Sinan.
Great. Thank you very much, Christine, for your insights into the latest innovation of the SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition that our customers can benefit from. So now let's move over to the Q&A part. And before we do so, let me just quickly repeat what I've outlined in the beginning. So this session is part of an entire series of live sessions on the theme of SAP Business Suite. And in our playlist, which you can access in the description of this video, you can find all past sessions which you can consume on demand, as well as the upcoming ones which we have planned for the upcoming weeks. So would be great to also see you in there. So now let me take a quick look into the chat. So we have received a couple of questions. Let me start with the first one, which is,
Mhm.
what are the commercial technical prerequisites to use the shown AI use cases?
Mhm. Um, yeah, so they have an additional price tag. So they would consume AI units. Um, and this is a separate price list item that you would have to clarify with your account executive. So it's AI units that are consumed and have additional. You see also service. The service description guide also lists these single use cases. So there is a commercial aspect on it. From the technical aspect, these are BTP services, right? So like document extraction or the personal recommendation or the large language models that I use. So that's technically a combination of S4 together with BTP services.
Great. Thank you for the clarification here. So the next question is there an overview of all the different capabilities and innovations included in S/4HANA 2023?
Mhm. Um, One complete overview of 2023. So about the 1,000 innovations. So there's one mean, one mean is that you can use the What's New viewer in help.sap.com. That is one option. And there you can then maybe select feature pack by feature pack. So because otherwise it's maybe too overwhelming. But I think you can also download from the What's New viewer. And then you have the repository of all the innovations. So that is one option, the What's New viewer under help.sap.com for private edition, as well as these community blogs that I have shown you in the slide. There's also an umbrella blog listing all single blocks of the feature packs, right? If you move backwards from the FPS03 one to the main one for 2023, you get an collection block, we call it, and there you can navigate through the single items or single blocks. Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you. And also the slides which you have just seen during the
Mhm.
presentation will be made accessible to you shortly after the session. So you will find the link leading to the shown slides, including all the additional resources that Christina has outlined in the description of this video. So with that, let's move over to the next question, which is, how long will the S4 Private Cloud Edition be supported?
Yeah, so we have the general board statement about S4 on-premise, which is 24T, right? So that is also applicable for private edition. Beyond that, there's no other any communication apart from this. And as I said, the standard maintenance, like the 7 years release cycle, that we continue with 2025. And internally, we are doing our roadmap. You see also items already for releases after that, right? So 2027 would be the next main release, so to say. But the general statement about is out for 2040 from our board. Mhm.
Great. Thank you for the information on that. So I can currently not see any additional questions in the chat.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
many thanks again to you, Christine, for taking your
Mhm.
time for today's session and also for the Q&A part. And many thanks also to the participants for joining. Would be great to see you again in one of our future sessions.
Thank you. Also from
Have
my
a great
side.
day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Goodbye.